What's up, everybody? We're back, and a part of the Goonies has made it into 2021 in the form of the movie Finding Ohana. It's just a blast.
It is a blasty. It's like a blasty blast.
So, if you don't know what we're talking about Finding Ohana. I don't know how you clicked this video and not know what we're not talking about.
Wait, this isn't WandaVision?
Nope, sorry. No WandaVision spoilers here. It follows two kids. One's almost an adult, it feels like, but it's Peely and E. And Peely is the younger sister of E, and their mother is Kelly Hugh. Their father has passed away due to being in the army or navy or something. It's kind of vague how he died. And they go to Hawaii to visit their grandfather, who is Gibraltar from Apex Legends. If you've ever played that game, his voice, all I could think about was Gibraltar. But he's got this journal, and there's like a little ring thing that's very reminiscent of the Goonies.
No, it's a doubloon.
Yeah, a blue.
So it's
whatever.
straight up. It's just straight up the Goonies.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's basically the Goonies plot only in Hawaii and less making fun of Chunk and more just like togetherness and working together. It's corny, it's fun, nice little side characters, but also we get Data in this movie. He's a fully grown man in this movie.
Yeah, that's probably my only complaint with the movie. He's just like a straight up gimmick. He's like, hey, this dude was in Goonies.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, like, they don't say that. Obviously, they don't mention that in the movie. But he is really only in the movie for like 3 minutes. That's cute. It's just a romp. It's a cute romp, like it's just fun.
It's one of those movies you can't like entirely review properly because you're just like, it's just a fun movie.
Yeah.
There's high stakes because there's like spiders and puzzles and whatnot,
Yeah.
but it's not like anything that is like any different from the Goonies. It's just, we know it's corny because it's them trying to do the Goonies in 2021.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff doesn't port over that well.
And you like at first when you start it, you're like, I don't want to like. You're kind of like, oh, this is a kids movie, and I will not enjoy it. But then you start to realize that, like, really, as much as I love the Goonies, it is one not for children. It kind of doesn't hit the same kind of family feel of like family's important, and really this takes the Mikey and Brant like relationship and says, okay, well, what if we actually like resolve some issues between the two of them, like dealt with some things. I thought about like the kid. There's like a kid that right away you're like, that's the nerd, and that's the kid who's gonna hate going on an adventure. But no, it's like they take that and they say, no, he's the nerd, he knows the things. Yeah. But he's actually the only one who doesn't have like I'm scared of heights, or I can't swim, or like I've been bitten by a spider. Like it's fun. There's a moment where I'm like, yeah, this kid rules. Like he's like, we gotta get over here.
The movie's title is Finding Ohana, and Ohana means family in Hawaiian. It actually means quite a few things in terms of like family. And so to see them bond as like a temporary family, as well as, the entire idea of like the Hawaiian culture, it's just like very fun movie, very clearly tourist ad for Hawaii, but that's okay because you know what? It's beautiful.
Yeah. It's a tourist ad that's also like, tourist, am I right? And honestly, for a Netflix movie that has a lot of adventure and that's a kids movie, it actually still looks great. I mean, you have those sweeping shots of Hawaii, but also like I went back and I looked, I'm like, there's maybe like 20 visual. I mean, there's definitely more, but it's like really noticeable visual effect shots. There's not that many. And it's like, so they clearly like put a lot of love in like, let's make this look as real as possible. And even when they do bring in like visual effects, like, computer generated effects, it doesn't look bad either. I mean, there's a whole thing where, without going into it, there's like some orbs and you're like,
but it has also some good cameos. You got Chris Parnell, Mark Evan Jackson.
Yes.
You also have Ryan Higa, a huge YouTuber. I guess he's huge. I don't know, but I know that he is a YouTuber of some sort. If you had to give this a rating, Out of how many Ohana members out of 10 would you give it?
And I'm gonna do it from like this is just a straight up rating. Who cares if it's a kids movie? It's a movie. I'm gonna say I give like a solid like 7 out of 10 Ohana. Members of my Ohana.
Agreed. It's a 7 out of 10 members of my family. The problem with Christopher Nolan movies is like Tenet is all exposition,
Yes.
or Inception is. Finding Ohana is like exposition for just understanding Hawaiian language, and I loved it. I was like, I don't know what half these words mean.
This movie, it makes me want to like move to Hawaii. It makes me want to learn Hawaiian, and it just like every time, like I mean, it was so cool that they just like threw the language in there, and without even like it would be like English and Hawaiian. It would, and it's just neat. It's cool to see that when you don't see it from that area that often. It's cool.
Yeah.
I like it. It's fun. I know you're gonna want to show your kids the Goonies. Like you're gonna be like, I love the Goonies. I'm gonna show it. You should probably show them this first.
Yes.
And then give it a few years and then watch the Goonies. Because again, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, why was the Goonies rated? I know why it was rated PG, but come on, like that's.
But don't show your kids Indiana Jones until they're in their teens.
Hey, I shouldn't have watched Temple of Doom until I should probably still be waiting a little longer.
Yeah.
Like 30. I should be in my 30s before I see that movie.
You got people's faces melting off.
And the Kalima, like,
oh my God.
Un esercito di prodi